everyone. So who has a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese on their shelf right now? I hate to admit it, but I always had a box of that on the shelf when I was raising my two kids. It was my son's favorite food. In fact, it was the first food he learned how to make. He also loves Panera broccoli and cheese soup. So between loving macaroni and cheese and loving that broccoli cheese soup, I thought I could make a dish that he might in fact love that is totally veganized. I am making a mac and cheese broccoli bake that is cheesy and ooey, and it's got jerky onions on top. It is so good, and I'm going to take it over to him when we're finished filming here today and hope that he will eat it. So let's head to the kitchen and make some cheesy broccoli mac and cheese. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do in order to make this is to take a half a cup of cashews and boiling water, I'm using my tea kettle, and just cover them. Now these are raw cashews, not toasted, and the reason for letting them sit for a half hour to an hour in boiling water is it creates a creamier texture when you blend this, because this is going to be part of our cheese foundation. I'm cooking 2.5 cups of dry pasta. I'm using elbow macaroni in salted boiling water. I'm going to cook it for exactly 7 minutes. I want my pasta to be al dente since we're going to end up putting it in the oven after we mix all the ingredients. In my beautiful new pan that Brian bought me this weekend from Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm sauteing my onion, garlic, and broccoli up in 1/4 cup of vegetable broth. I use the no chicken vegetable broth, but it's a personal preference. And of course I'm using my frozen onions as a cheat. So that was 1 heaping teaspoon of garlic and 1/3 cup of onion. And we're just gonna cook this until the broccoli gets nice and soft. I'm going to add half a cup of red lentils to 2 cups boiling salted water. Okay, after about 15 minutes, this is what your red lentils will look like with the 2 cups of water. So it kind of looks like a mushy porridge. To this, we're going to add half of a can of full fat coconut milk, unsweetened. If you end up putting a little too much in there, that's okay. This is serving as your butter and milk. It'll just be that much creamier. Okay, now for all the flavors. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of black salt, just a dash of chili powder, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and whisk that and just keep it on low. Okay, so my macaroni is cooked. My cashews have sat in boiling water for an hour. I've drained them. They're gonna go in my Vitamix now. I'm gonna add to that my coconut milk and red lentil mixture into that. Okay, so I'm going to take my cheese sauce and pour it all over my cooked macaroni. That was my oven preheating to 350. Once we add the broccoli mixture to this, we're going to top it with jerky onions and put it in the oven for 350. I want to get as much cheese sauce out of here as I can. I don't want to waste any of it. It's so good. Okay. So now that we've got the cheese sauce added to the macaroni, I'm just going to stir it really good before adding my broccoli mixture. So I cooked my broccoli a little more than I normally do because it's all about texture too, and I don't want to bite into broccoli pieces. I want them to be as smooth as when you're eating broccoli cheese soup. So we basically don't want to really differentiate between eating the macaroni and the broccoli. Okay, so what I have next to me is just a little bit of the vegetable broth left over from when I was cooking the broccoli, and I'm going to use that as I see fit. If I think this is too thick right now, because it still has to go in the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes, and we don't want it to dry out the creaminess of the cheese. So at this point, I'm gonna add a little bit more moisture to this, just knowing that it will dry out a little bit. There we go. That's all it takes. Now it's ooey gooey cheesy. So you probably could have just mixed it all in your casserole dish, but I thought it would have been harder to keep it neat and clean for baking purposes. So that's why I mixed it in the pot. But now I just have to scrape all the cheese again. Favorite part of cooking? Not. Oh my goodness. I have never been a huge mac and cheese fan, only because I knew how much butter was in it, so I didn't allow myself to become a fan of it, quite honestly. But knowing the ingredients in here, I have become a huge fan of mac and cheese now. Oh, turkey onions. Yum, look at that. Into the oven it goes. Okay, so I'm getting impatient and I'm taking it out before the timer goes off. Okay, I pulled that out just about 5 minutes sooner than I should. What you think? Oh my goodness. It even sounds creamy. Okay, so while it cools, I'm going to talk to you about what I have over here. I don't know if you've never seen a yellow watermelon before, but I never have. So I just bought one at Horrocks this weekend when I saw it. And for the very first time, I'm going to taste it with you guys because I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know if it's going to taste the same as regular watermelon or not. Oh, I missed a seed. It definitely tastes different. I can't put my finger on how. There's another seed in there. I don't think it's as sweet. There's definitely not as much of a watermelon flavor. So I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of money on it. It was actually cheaper than the regular watermelon. To me, it's just like a milder watermelon. It doesn't have like that watermelon flavor punch to it. And I don't know if that's because it's not fully ripe, but it's supposed to be that way or not. Would I buy it again? Probably only to entertain because of the neatness of the yellow color. But for the flavor, I think I'll stick to my regular watermelon. But it's not bad at all. It just doesn't have that watermelon punch. Okay. So indulgent, and it's got broccoli in it too. This is definitely going to be one of my new favorite foods. This is only my second time putting this together for Brian, and I am in love with it. I will be making this quite often. I think I'll use it as an entertaining dish. I think it will impress a lot of people. It's got a cheesy consistency, it's got great flavor, it's got the crunchy onions on top, and you've got your broccoli mixed in too. I like it a lot. Without a doubt, that's another party for my taste buds. Okay. My little froggy, I commissioned from my daughter after that being my very first picture that I took that I thought was cool enough to go into photography as a hobby. It was just a little tree frog above our hot tub, and I thought it was adorable. And I got such a cute picture of him that I had my daughter paint him for me. So he just was our little visitor in the kitchen today. Well, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, try to eat a little healthier than you did last week.